Kylian Mbappe and PSG were a marriage made in heaven. Sadly though, it was the same sort of heaven that made the marriage of Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie. That is to say, it probably seemed like heaven to them, but the rest of the world always just looked at it and thought,
"That's suspicious. That's weird."
Anyone watching this video under 30, by the way, just swap that out for Elon Musk and Grimes or something, I don't know. Anyway, just like the pain celebrity metaphor I've opened with, both parties look set to undergo a spectacular and messy separation in the very near future. Mbappe is entering the last year of his contract and has made it clear he doesn't intend to trigger the extension beyond 2024. This leaves PSG in a bit of a pickle. Their options are sell Mbappe now in the same summer Lionel Messi has left the club and receive a huge transfer fee, or keep him for another year with the slim hope that he'll finally deliver the Champions League trophy the club so desperately crave, but then likely lose him for nothing whether that happens or not. Ultimately though, Mbappe likely has the deciding vote. This is where Kylian Mbappe will end up this season. So let's look at his options. Firstly, stay at PSG for a season and then leave for free. Seemingly the most simple option on this list for both PSG and Mbappe, staying at the club for the 23-24 season and then deciding on his future next May or June. That will likely involve him leaving on a free, but will fans of the club from the French capital really care if they're European champions? Probably not. Will they be European champions? Also, probably not. In response to La Parisienne on Twitter at the beginning of June, which suggested Mbappe wants to join Real Madrid this summer, the 24-year-old tweeted, "Lies!" in all caps. At the same time, the bigger it is, the more it passes. I have already said that I will continue next season at PSG, where I am very happy. At the same time, Mbappe also sent a statement to news outlet AFP, suggesting that at the signing of his bumper contract with PSG in 2022, he informed the club then he wouldn't be exercising the option of the extra year. That statement read, "After having publicly declared in recent weeks that he will be a Parisian next season, Kylian Mbappe did not ask for his departure this summer, but merely confirmed to the club that he was not activating his additional year. The management of the club in charge of its extension, signed on May 21st, 2022, was informed of its decision on July 15th, 2022, and the sole purpose of the email was to confirm what had already been orally clarified previously." Now, while that does make the club's decision to issue a statement implying he wanted to leave a very transparent attempt at crisis management, that does still mean, probably, that that's that. Or is it? Option 2, Real Madrid make a move this summer. Having already signed Jude Bellingham for £115 million, the prospect of Mbappe becoming available would be an opportunity too difficult for Real Madrid to pass up on. After attempting to buy him for more than £150 million in 2021, when he had just a year remaining on that contract at the time, Los Blancos certainly won't turn their nose up at the idea of shattering the transfer record. While Mbappe snubbed them last summer in favour of staying in Paris, it seems his main desire all along has been to eventually move to the Bernabeu. One French outlet, PSG Community, is also suggesting an agreement between the two clubs has already been reached, after holding a positive meeting in mid-June where negotiations accelerated. The report also stated that PSG owner and the Emir of Qatar Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and Real Madrid president Florentino Perez have since come to an agreement by exchanging messages. Now, I personally read that as they're in a WhatsApp group called Haha Beep Beep Money Lol, but that's probably just me. Mbappe will now reportedly cost more than $200 million, despite having just a year remaining on his current deal, though that full price depends on performance-based incentives such as Mbappe winning the Ballon d'Or and such. But the thing is, while that's a hefty price tag, Madrid aren't the only ones who can afford it. Option 3 is that the Saudi League gets involved. Teams from the Saudi Pro League have increasingly disrupted the transfer market this summer, and making Mbappe an offer he can't refuse would certainly, how can I put this, turn a few heads. While a 38-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo and a 35-year-old Karim Benzema are currently in Saudi Arabia earning astronomical fortunes, an offer to any footballer, regardless of their age or status, to become the richest sportsman in the world would take some strength in turning down. On the one hand, Mbappe is only 24, still on the way up in his career and aiming to become the greatest footballer in the world, which, frankly, you simply can't be if you're playing in the Saudi Pro League. But, on the other hand, money. More money than, like, God. Saudi Arabia is one of the few places in world football that can actually afford Mbappe, so while this is a move that seems highly unlikely, if he is truly desperate to leave PSG, then there's always a possibility of it actually happening. And finally, because I'm as curious about this prospect as you are, there's always the possibility of the Premier League. Aside from Real Madrid and Saudi Arabia, Premier League clubs are the only ones in world football capable of affording Mbappe in this transfer window, and even then, there's a very limited pool available. They include just Manchester City, Manchester United, and Chelsea, limiting Mbappe's options should he ever wish to play in England's top flight. And as much as I would love to include Newcastle United in that list, the levels they currently operate at wouldn't put them anywhere near getting that kind of a transfer through FFP. So linking up with Pep Guardiola and Erling Haaland at City would be absolutely terrifying for the rest of the league. But with the Spanish manager having just 2 years remaining on his current deal, and with it unlikely Mbappe will want to share the limelight with his Norwegian counterpart, that deal feels unlikely. Also with the club pursuing other expensive targets and at least wanting to be seen to do sensible business under the spotlight of their current investigation, moving now when he's possibly available for free next summer would also seem unlikely. Manchester United, meanwhile, present a slightly less enticing option for the Frenchman, with Erik ten Hag still in the process of rebuilding the squad at Old Trafford. The club still remains one of the most attractive places in the world to play your football, but their ongoing ownership issues and lack of clarity over available funds mean this isn't likely to be a market they're currently able to shop in. As for Chelsea, well, recruitment since Todd Boehly and co took over last year has left a lot to be desired, but signing Mbappe would certainly rectify a multitude of those mistakes. However, they are currently making massive cuts to their squad to free up space and funds for Mauricio Pochettino ahead of his debut campaign. While you would certainly make an exception for someone of Mbappe's talent, it might not be the smartest move open to them. And of course, while they're certainly not afraid to chuck money at absolutely anything, to be quite honest, not being able to offer him even a whiff of European football this year might make that a non-starter. While nobody knows right now where Kylian Mbappe is going to move, one thing that is for certain is that whether it's in this summer transfer window or the next, he is going to move. And when he does, it's likely to be the biggest transfer in a generation and one that could alter the balance of power in whatever league he happens to end up in. Add to that the very realistic possibility that if it is next summer, it could well be for an outlay of precisely zero, then that is a transfer that every single club in the world that's capable of affording his wages is going to want to be a part of.